Hangover Destroyer is the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. If you like to drink at night and be able to think in the morning, one shot of Hangover Destroyer lets you have all the fun and no side effects. Go to Hangover Destroyer's website, hdestroyer.com, write happy hour in the coupon code, and get 30% off of Hangover Destroyer. Hangover Destroyer, seize the dawn.
It's Happy Hour again from Uptown, New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com, which is brought to us today by Petite Pet Care. If you're going out of town or you have a schedule that keeps you away from home, the folks at Petite Pet Care understand that some pets don't mind being boarded, but others prefer the comfort of their own home, and if that's your pet, Petite Pet Care will give them loving care when you're not there. You can find them at petitepetcare.com. That's on the internet.
That's
when you
really
walk into
good
it,
to know.
isn't it? Do you have?
I might have to call.
You might need to call them, Meschiya.
Yeah.
Why not? Move in a little bit onto that mic so I can hear you.
Well, I travel all the time and I have 2 dogs. One is 12 weeks and one is 12 years.
Wow.
So the 12-week-old.
That's quite a disparity.
Yeah.
That's a
They're
long way
related,
apart.
actually.
Well, you should really? In
Yeah.
what way? 12 years.
The old one is my baby's great uncle.
Yeah. Okay. I was hoping they weren't somehow brother or sister or something like that. That would have been
Mama
12.
was real active her
Well,
entire
people
life.
have babies 12 years apart.
Oh, absolutely.
The other voices you're hearing here are Kate Parker. Hi, Kate.
Hi.
And Jamar Pierre.
Hello.
Hello. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about them in just a minute. Is that too loud for you, Meschiya? You can turn it up. Oh, that is...
I'm feeding back.
Was that
Sorry.
you? 3, yeah. Is that better?
Now that's too quiet. Sorry,
No.
Internet land.
Okay, how's
Feedback is a
that?
terrible
Just mess around with it yourself while I do this little intro thing here.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, listen, when you walk into a bar in New Orleans, and I don't think it's any of those that are going to work. It's this one here.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to do some... Never mind. It's fine.
Oh, you
Carry
want
on.
to try some? Do you want to do some engineering?
Oh, I was going to, but
Yeah.
no.
No,
not
go
really.
ahead.
It's fine now.
Okay. Is it?
Yeah.
You can always mess around with it.
No squeal.
When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limo or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you, because that's New Orleans and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar, in this case we're at Wayfare on Ferret Street, which has been very difficult for some people to get to today, apparently, due to roadworks. Kate, what happened to you?
Oh, man. What is up with all these lusher charter school students on Ferret? There are like throngs of them. I can't get by. I debated parking my car and just running down the street. There's a lot of them.
What do they look like? Nice and friendly, well-educated,
They do.
well-dressed?
Yeah, they're well-dressed. They're all appropriately, happy, and they're really smart.
Happy.
Yeah, they're smiling,
don't
joking
you
around,
hate
kissing on
kids
each
who are
other.
happy?
They're sweet.
Did you feel bad for getting mad at the happy little children?
I mean, I really debated, what would happen if I just parked my car and got out and ran? Like some
What?
apocalyptic
It feels
sort
really
of
good
thing.
for a second. I bet.
I know.
You feel
And then
really
I'd be like,
liberated.
what the hell do I do about my car?
Oh, you mean just leave your car on the
Right,
street?
Right, yeah.
Isn't there a movie like that?
Yeah.
Falling Down or something that was... What was his name?
I don't know.
Michael Douglas, yes. Thanks, Chris.
Also, there's a video, an REM video. What is it? Everybody Hurts? Where everybody's stuck on the highway and everybody's just like,
that is
"Fuck it,"
exactly
and
what
gets
it
out
like.
of the car.
That is exactly
gets
what
out
it
of the
looks like.
cars and yeah. That's happened to me during parades sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, well, I'll just get out and join you.
Like
'cause
when you're
not
stuck in the
going
box
anywhere.
and you can't get out of the box?
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
be stuck in traffic for 4 hours during Mardi Gras
Yeah. Where do you live, Jamar? What part of town?
in the warehouse district.
So you got to just abandon all hope over Mardi
I leave
Gras,
town for Mardi Gras.
You don't really.
I like to go to
You're
the,
one of
to
those
the
kind of
chicken
New
run, to
Orleanians.
the Cajun Mardi Gras out there in
Oh,
Eunice.
upstate, yeah.
Call it
In
Mardi
Eunice,
Gras.
that is cool.
Do you
Yeah.
dress up? Do you wear the outfit?
Yeah, we make our own costumes.
No
I
way.
get all of the musicians are my friends and family, so I get to ride with them.
That's awesome.
Do you do the chicken thing?
Yeah, it's fun catching the chicken. And you make a gumbo at the end.
So for people who are listening who don't know what that is, so you get on a horse over Mardi Gras in Eunice, which is a small town, a small Cajun town,
Uh-huh.
and people who are already drunk riding horses, correct?
Only the Capitone rides the horse. Everybody else
you don't ride a
on the
horse?
wagon or they're walking,
Uh-huh.
and you go to different people's houses out in the country, and you beg for different seasonings
Beg.
for the gumbo. Like you might go to one farmer's house and beg for rice.
How do
go
you
somewhere
how
as
do
a
you
bag for
beg?
season.
How do you beg for it?
They make you get on your knees, and there's a guy dressed like Napoleon. It's to make fun of the French royalty. So there's this one guy dressed like Napoleon. He whips you if you don't get on your knees and beg for seasoned sausage, or if you don't try to chase the chicken.
You're chasing
in
it.
In one house, you might get rice, so you get all the ingredients. And I find that our cooking, is great down here in New Orleans. Me being born and raised here, but the food out there is tremendous.
What are some people doing at home at Mardi Gras while you're out chasing chickens and so on?
It's a real, the rural parts of Louisiana are very family orientated. I've been doing Mardi Gras since a kid. I've had too many Mardi Gras where I had to carry drunk friends home down St. Charles. I'm just done with it.
They didn't have
And
to
then
carry
there's
you.
a lot of drunk, obnoxious tourists doing Mardi Gras and too much traffic. I can't even leave
With
out of
you.
my parking lot in
Right.
the warehouse district because
I'm sure.
parades are blocking.
So who do you know up? Do you have family in Eunice?
Yes, my fiance's from Lafayette, and she's related to the Doucets, Michael Doucet, Matthew Doucet from Beausoleil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So you're marrying into
Good times.
Cajun royalty there at some
Yeah.
point.
For sure.
Well,
when's
she's
the wedding?
related to him by marriage, but
Okay.
they're still good friends.
That's pretty close. When's the wedding?
December. We're going to
Oh,
elope.
2014. You're going
So
to
it's
elope.
a secret, yes.
So don't tell anyone. Okay. Where are you going to
Not
get?
traditional at all.
Don't tell anyone. We
don't-
just talked about it.
No
though.
one's listening to this.
Some
Believe me.
beautiful island.
Some
Nice.
beautiful island yet to
Yes.
be determined because December's close by.
Yes.
Or maybe he's going to do it in November and say it's December, because then when they ask, it's already happened, and whoops, we already did it.
It's a
'Cause-
secret. We don't
Yeah,
know what's
people
true.
make their weddings about everybody else
know.
instead of them, so we're just real private about it.
That's great.
That's good. How long have you been dating?
3 years.
3 years? That's time to make a decision. Okay.
Did you know right away?
Not right away, after about a year.
Yeah.
That's not right away.
Well, no,
That's a
it's
year.
not.
That's
But
a long
close.
time.
That's usually when mine end. Actually, they end way before that. If I made it to a year, I'm like, woo!
How long do you usually make it?
3 months.
Yeah, that's what
At
I think.
6 months, I have another freak out. That's usually when it really blows apart.
But that's normal. I think 3 weeks. If you get the first,
It's been normal to me my entire life.
but I think it's like that for everyone until you find
Yeah.
someone that you get past that 6 month with.
Well, yeah, that's happened a couple of times.
Yeah, but it's hard to find that.
Yeah, it's a miracle when it does happen.
Katie, you're married, aren't you?
I am. I knew after 2 weeks.
All right.
I gave him the key,
romance.
and that was
You
it.
gave him the key to your
I did.
house after
I
2
said we're
weeks.
going to get married. Yeah, here's the key to my place. We're going to get married. I love you, by the way.
And what did he think about that? Some guys take.
Holy.
Yeah. most guys would be freaked out to
Oh,
hear
he was
that.
totally freaked out.
He was.
Uh-huh. He didn't say anything for a good, 10 minutes. And I just waited.
I thought you were going to say 10 weeks.
Oh, no, it was 10
10 minutes is not that bad, I wouldn't think.
It wasn't that bad.
What did he say? What was his first reaction?
He kind of changed the subject. And then the next
To
day,
football?
I went back to it. Yeah. I don't even remember what to. And then the next day I went back to it and I was like, do you remember that thing I said? What's up with that?
But after 2 weeks.
I left that hanging, so we're
But
not gonna.
why were you so determined to make a big deal about it after
I
2
don't know,
weeks like
because I
that?
feel like when you know, and if I knew and he didn't know, I wanted to move on. Forget it.
That would have
I hear
been
that.
that would have nixed the whole thing after 2 weeks, and you didn't think somewhere maybe at 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Oh, maybe I was
I don't know.
wrong about that.
I think that if I really trusted myself, so I think I'd been in enough crappy relationships to know that.
Yeah, well, there
if
is.
Get
I
it
felt
out
so
of the
sure.
way. You know?
Yeah.
I'm with you. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, and if I felt so sure, then I knew that either I'm completely an ass, and if that's the case, then I just needed to move out of that and figure out why I was an ass, or he just needed to
Get with the program.
to let me know either he was with it or not, and,
And
he was
he
totally
was,
with it.
and it's worked out. And how long ago was that?
I guess we've been together for 9 years, and we've been married for 7.
Okay.
Lucky 7.
It definitely
right,
helps you
good
learn
job.
a lot
A
about
round of
yourself.
applause, please. Round of applause.
Okay. Well, shall I tell everybody a little bit about you?
Sure.
This is Dr. Kate Parker you're listening to, who's the executive director of Market Umbrella, the folks who put on New Orleans farmers markets across the city in downtown, uptown, the French Market, and mid-city. Kate originally moved to New Orleans in 1999 to teach 8th grade
Or 97.
math. 97. I knew there had to be always a mistake.
I know, it could be my fault.
Like, is it your fault? You don't have an eye for detail and you're running a giant market like this? And all that money going back and forth? It's only 2
Tokens.
points.
It's wooden
Imagine
coins.
imagine if that was millions.
Oh, Jesus.
Moved to New Orleans in 1997 to teach 8th grade math. That's hard to say, actually, but quickly realized the futility of that pursuit.
Try doing it.
Inspired by her observation that the lack of nutrition was one of the obstacles students faced, Kate enrolled in Tulane University's School of Public Health and began working at Tulane's Prevention Research Center. Had you met Mr. Wright by this time?
Mr. Wright?
Yeah. The guy you married to.
Oh.
Who are you thinking I was referring to?
I know, I was like...
Somebody called David Wright?
Well, on the way here, I saw an ad for a political candidate of the name of Wright, and I was like, wait, Wright? That guy?
Oh,
No.
dear. What is Mr. Wright's name? actually?
James Karst.
James. Had you met James when you, at this point when you
No.
quit teaching and went to
Yeah,
college?
actually that summer. Yeah, he was part of the reason why I quit teaching.
Really? Why?
Because I realized he was working nights at the newspaper, and a nighttime copy editor and a daytime teacher. Those hours are not meant to be.
Yeah, that's
So,
crazy.
someone, one of us had to make a change.
So you
And-
must have been totally in love with this guy, obviously.
Completely.
You decided to throw in your career as well for him.
Well, it's sort of like an extension. And plus, there's some teacher burnout. I was getting a little burnout. It's hard.
How long have you been teaching for?
7 years.
Yeah, well, that is a long time.
Yeah, and I was thinking maybe
That's
I
why
need
you
to
hate those kids
do a
from
little bit
Lusher.
bigger impact.
Now it's all making
No.
sense.
Yeah, full-time teachers have a lot of respect for them, man.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. I had students go to Lusher.
Patience.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're not saying any more bad things about your
Yeah.
attitude toward children and that.
Oh, I have 3 of them.
You have your own children. I'm sure they're not hard to deal with, or
They're 5, 3, and 1 year old.
5, 3, and 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, you just got these months wrong, years wrong
Yeah.
between 1997,
Yeah.
and now you confuse 1 year with 1 month.
I know. Well,
You have a lot on your mind, or you?
it's just the kids. They're exhausting.
Hey, look.
Oh, she's
Here
bringing
we
over
go. No,
snacks.
I think Jay ordered a cheese plate. Bring it on over. It's okay. You're
bring
allowed
it
to
over.
talk.
That's
It's,
all.
Let's move the decorative
Yeah.
gourd.
Nice going, Jay.
It's decorative
job.
gourd season.
I know. Well,
Let's move
Douglas,
that over.
Our photographer puts that on
On
the
a
table.
slate, that's that. Wow. Looks like a slate that came off a roof. That's
pretty.
interesting.
That is nice. It's a roof slate.
that's
You're right.
gorgeous.
Okay, Meschiya's ordering something to eat as well. This is.
The money for those earrings out of your ears. Awesome.
You want to buy the waitress's earrings off her ears?
She offered. She made
did?
them. They're
You're kidding.
Really?
amazing.
They're for sale?
You're taking out your
they're
You have
wallet.
to talk into a microphone though, otherwise
They're
we can't
adorable. Look how adorable
They
those
are. Hey,
Oh, yeah,
do you
those
make
knives
those
are cool.
for real?
Yeah.
Well, come and tell us something
Come
about them
talk.
then.
Here, I'll go get the Pinot Grigio. You sit and talk.
sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right. Well, I hate
Do you
to
have a card?
No, but the girl that I work with over there, we are doing. Should I put the? Should I
Yeah, put the headphones on. Yeah, you'd be
okay,
like
so-
a real
This is awesome.
performer. Yeah.
Her and I are doing a market.
She and I.
She and I are doing a market November 8th. It's called Little Flea, and it is on Magazine Street.
I'm doing the opening for that.
You are?
Well, she is-
The opening for
That's so funny. We have a booth there, and
she's.
she is reselling vintage clothing and accessories and stuff like that, and I am recreating antique jewelry and making it into my own and adding different stones, like the necklaces that I'm wearing right now. I added the stones in, and I used 2 different types of vermeil chain, which is like antique gold, which is much better quality than today's plated gold jewelry, which tarnishes so much
They're
quicker.
beautiful.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And then the rings I made, they're separate rings, and I wire wrapped each one and added the different stones. And the earrings here, they also have the vermeil chain with
What is vermeil?
vermeil is the type of
Yes.
vermeil is the type of gold that they use. It's a type of gold plating that lasts much, much longer, which is why antique jewelry that you see in antique stores, they still like have such a great quality to them. They do look a little bit on the tarnish side, but they'll never
But you
the
can
finish
clean
will
that.
never come off. Yes, you can
Yeah.
clean them, and it'll stay much better quality.
And they don't
than-
make your skin turn green.
exactly, which
Okay.
is like so great compared to gold-plated jewelry now.
Well,
It
listen.
turns your neck
While
fingers.
we're giving you a total free commercial here,
Yeah, right.
might as well tell us where to find it. What do you have a website or something?
I'll bring you her card, but we're going to be selling it on Etsy. Her shop is Time Traveler Vintage.
Time Traveler Vintage.
I'll bring over a few cards for you guys if you'd like.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Thanks.
Sure thing. How
Awesome.
cool.
This is
All right.
so great.
Hey,
Thank you.
just
Keep
tell,
up the good
Just
work.
tell us your name so we know who you
My
are.
name's Hannah Berger.
Hannah Berger. Nice. Okay. Are you from here, Hannah, or what?
I just moved here about 7 months ago from New York. So I moved down here to do my jewelry designing because there's a really great market
Okay.
here for jewelry
Hannah
designing,
Berger.
So.
All
Thanks
right.
so much.
Good job,
Awesome.
Hannah.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
See you later.
All right. Meschiya Lake is back.
Well, here. Look.
Oh, here's some money. We don't have to pay for that as well, do we? After the whole commercial. We did a whole commercial for Hannah Berger Jewelry.
Oh yeah, you should sponsor me. What?
That's a great idea.
Sponsor me.
Hey, look at that.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So cute.
Put them on.
This is so great.
You've got
We've been
spare
tested
holes.
recently 'cause this is- You don't have like
Ebola. You don't have
systems
Ebola,
and-
Hannah.
Ebola ears.
You can't get that from Kate. You're a doctor of something to do with public health.
Public health.
I'm getting over it, right?
This is maybe you've
Telling
got
us about
Ebola.
the
That's-
cheese.
This is awesome. We've only been here a few minutes. You have a free pair of earrings.
No, I paid for them.
You
How
bought
much
those
were they?
earrings.
Yeah. I'll support
Oh, I
them.
thought she was
15
giving them.
bucks?
No. You know, you gotta support local.
I thought she was going to give you. Going to do
Local
like an
artists.
endorsement or something. What do you think? Pretty gorgeous, right?
I mean, I like them.
Yeah, they're
I
cute.
think they look good. Jamar, you're an artist, right? Tell her what's your opinion about these earrings?
They look great. They're very creative. I've never seen knives that small.
Dangle.
It reminds me of one of those old school cowboy knives my grandfather used to have.
I like sharp
And the
objects.
fact she made earrings out of them.
Your
that's
grandfather was a
amazing.
cowboy?
No, but you know, those old people always had something that looked rustic and antique, like it was back from those days. You know? He was a farmer.
He was?
Oh, really?
From
Where?
here in New Orleans?
Oh, no, from
St. Francisville.
Okay.
Ah, so
What
you
was
have a
the
lot of
crop?
ties.
They used to grow everything. Then go down to the downtown St. Francisville, he would tell me, and they would sell like squash and snap peas
Nice.
and okra,
Nice.
things like that. He was a part Choctaw, and I actually went to go visit his mother's graveyard, which would have been my great grandmother, and it's in Tunica, going towards Angola.
Wow.
There's a nice nature trail that we've been to out there that's really cool in Tunica.
Like Tunica Falls.
Yeah, Tunica Falls. Yeah,
Awesome.
awesome. It's supposed to be like where a glacier stopped during the
Yeah.
ice age, and you don't
Who
even know
told-
you're in
who told you
Louisiana.
that? Who told you that there was
There's a
glaciers?
sign out there.
Really? There were glaciers
A marker.
here? There's a
During the
sign.
ice
marker.
age, we're talking about what, millions of years ago?
Yeah, right.
Is that really true? Do you believe it? Jamar, really? Do you believe there was a glacier in North Louisiana? I guess there could be. Who knows?
Millions of years ago,
If
yeah.
there was an ice age, I guess the whole world was
Yeah,
covered in ice,
sure.
right? So it's not that unbelievable.
Yeah.
So who moved to New Orleans? What part of your family? Did your grandfather leave St. Francis?
On the Pierre side, I have my dad is a Pierre. We have a place called Pierre Town in Edgard, Louisiana. That's in St. John Parish. And on my mom's side, her dad's from St. Francisville, and her mom's from Napoleonville. Grew up right on Bayou de Fou. She grew up on a plantation.
So were they French? Were they Pierre, or did they
on a
take
Pierre
that name
Pierre
somewhere?
side,
They were
my
real
grandparents spoke French Creole.
They did.
We mixed with all kind of stuff, you know,
Yeah.
African mostly, Native American.
But who was
some
the person?
European.
Who was the person who moved to New Orleans? Do you know back then?
All my grandparents moved to New Orleans.
They all came
They're all
here?
from the country.
Did they keep
Most
any?
of us are from the country.
Do they keep
Nobody's
any
there.
property up there? Do you have a farm? in
Pierre
St. Francis?
Town, yeah, Pierre Town.
There is, Pierre
Everybody
Town.
that lives on the land is my family, right on River Road. Beautiful
Town.
place. They still have
guys ever heard of
bonfires,
Pierre
hunting
Town?
fish.
Really?
Yeah. It's gorgeous.
Have you been there, Kate?
No, I haven't, but now I want to go.
Yeah, I never even heard
It's
of
very
it. Meschiya,
inspirational
you've traveled
for
all
me
over.
when I go out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It inspires me to want to paint more about nature. You know.
Is that what Moist for Subject is about?
In the past, because I worked in AAA for a long time, a lot of my stuff is about Mardi Gras Indians, brass bands, and urban settings in New Orleans. But I do have some stuff that's like swamp scenes, bayou scenes, Cajun musicians.
I can read this intro if you like. I
sure.
can tell you a little bit about it. Why don't I?
Sure.
Jamar Pierre is a New Orleans artist whose bright, life-affirming murals can be seen across New Orleans and in other cities across the country. In the last 2 years, Jamar has completed a series of what he calls murals that change, which they don't really change, do they?
They change the way people think. and
Right,
feel.
but they don't actually change. They're not murals that
Not
change.
all the time. Sometimes.
It should be murals that change with like ... or something. Right? Technically. Okay. Murals that change, which he's painted with inner city youth in New Orleans. You've probably seen Jamar's work under the overpass in the Treme. There's a 70-foot mural at the St. Peter Claver Catholic School. And in Los Angeles, there's a 40-foot mural at the Institute of Maximum Human Potential.
Wow.
Meschiya, what was that look of shock?
Well, I just want to go to that institute.
I know.
What?
And
I wanna-
maximize your human
I wanna-
potential.
Yes, exactly.
What is the
Feels
Institute
like
of
everybody should maximize
Really?
human potential.
What is the Institute of Maximum Human
They
Potential?
work with
Jamar?
troubled youth and homeless families.
Ah,
It's in Watts, right where the Watts
the Watts Tower.
rebellion, where the Watts riots happened, and it's 2 blocks down from the Charles Mingus Art Institute and the Watts Towers.
It sounds like a historic place.
Yes.
How'd you get hooked up with those people?
Some collectors, you know.
Someone
I'm
found
always
you?
networking. I've been doing it for 20 years, so I've been really blessed and lucky to get a lot of work just by word of mouth.
You started when you were 5?
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I like
right?
drawing and painting, but I didn't start professionally until I was 18, 19. I'm 20.
You
I mean,
gotta tell me your secrets.
I'm
after this
41. I'm
podcast.
sorry. I'm 41. You
Boy,
kinda
what's
caught
up with
me
all the
off guard.
math on this show today?
I'm 41 now. So
41, you look fabulous.
when I was a
That's
kid,
it's
I
the
did,
glasses. It's the glasses.
when I
Where
kid, I
you
did
get-
graffiti. So you know how that goes.
Where'd you get those giant glasses from?
I'm pretty great.
One of those visual places.
One of those visual places. Okay, listen to this sentence here. Jamar is also popular with collectors, as he was saying, and has had work commissioned by, among others, Beyonce Knowles. Doesn't get much bigger than
Never
that.
heard of her.
No, she's
Baby?
she's an entertainer. Tina Knowles, who is Beyonce's mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wendell Pierce, Anthony Mackie, and Time Warner Entertainment.
Wow.
Jamar's paintings were featured in the HBO series Treme, and for over a decade he's been a featured artist at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival.
Man.
Come on.
Seriously.
What about that? Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so should we just go right into the Beyonce conversation? Or
You
not?
know, Essence Festival. She performed at Essence Festival a lot. Her mom's a big art
Mhm.
collector, and they have a whole collection of art hanging up at House of Darien in downtown Houston, which I used to live a couple of blocks away from after the storm.
House
So
of
I met them
House
in
of
Houston
Di-
because
you did?
because the year after Katrina, Essence was in
That's
Houston.
right. It was, and it was a big deal when it came back.
Yep.
So you actually met Beyonce
Mm-hmm.
like a regular person.
Yep.
What do you think?
I mean,
She's a regular person.
I don't know if you've ever been to these festivals like Jazz House or Essence Fest, but people just walk around.
It's
And
true.
talk
We're
to
all just
people.
regular
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I've never
Happens
seen.
at
I
all
have
the
never seen
festivals.
Beyonce walking around. Actually,
I think I
Of
saw
course,
Have
Nicole
you-
Kidman
of course
once.
they
Nicole
have
Kidman? I'm sure
bodyguards
that
and
was-
they PR people with them, but you know.
oh yeah.
Sure.
I saw Prince. But
Nice.
He wouldn't talk to me.
Oh, really? He didn't want to challenge you to a
Didn't
game
wa-
of basketball?
He didn't want to play basketball with me at all. Okay, I'm going to make Meschiya play us a song in 1 second, but first of all, I'm going to do
Awesome.
my one-paragraph introduction of you as
Yeah.
well, Meschiya, because that would only be fair, right? We're halfway through the show, and I've just got to this introduction.
Interesting.
Meschiya Lake is a New Orleans entertainer, in case you were wondering. Singer and leader of her own band, Meschiya Lake and the Little Bighorns. Meschiya's music is strongly rooted in the tradition of New Orleans jazz, but delivered in a package that is anything but traditional. I think that's a pretty good sentence, probably, right?
Yeah, unless you're talking about, well, traditional tattoos or Native American cultures, you know, those kinds of traditions. It's not the traditional jazz package,
No, it doesn't look like the
but it
traditional.
is now.
Well, you've turned it into something else, though. It's something completely different now.
Well, we're not really. We started out as a traditional jazz band, but we take elements from all over the place. So we do some
Right.
Chuck Berry, we do some Fats Domino, and traditional New Orleans jazz isn't so vocally rooted. And me being the band leader and being vocalist and the leader of this band, not an instrumentalist. Well, a voice is an instrument. That's a delicate subject. Anyway, I digress. We've taken on some more street beat sounds and some more brass band sounds and a little bit of rock and roll, but there's still some trad jazz in there too.
Yeah. The band has been reviewed glowingly everywhere, from the venerable New Yorker magazine, which called Meschiya thrilling, to a British rock magazine, R2, which I've never heard of that. Have you ever heard of that before they reviewed you?
No.
Is that popular?
I hope so.
I hope so too, because it described the Little Bighorns as one of the most entertaining bands on the planet.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really nice of
You
them.
can't do
Man.
much better than that. Well, I guess unless you're talking intergalactic rock. New Orleanians agree, having named Meschiya Female Performer of the Year multiple times at the Big Easy Awards, as well as playing across the country and around the world, from New York's Lincoln Center to Brazil, Denmark, Russia, and more. When they're at home in New Orleans, the band plays at least 2 or 3 nights of every week. And the Little Bighorns have 3 albums that can be found wherever great music is streamed or stolen. 2 albums. Only 2 albums, not 3.
Well, the third one is in concept form still right now, but we're working on it.
Oh, I can read that differently. I can say it has 2 albums and the third one's on the way.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. The Little Bighorns have 2 albums that can be found wherever great music is streamed or stolen, and 1 more on the way.
Definitely
Okay,
stolen.
how's that? Well, yeah. Are people stealing your music left and right like everyone else's?
I'm sure, yeah. But, I mean, such are these times. Like, it would be nice if Spotify gave people checks and it wasn't so hard to find out how you can get your BMI royalties. Anyway, that's all the industry stuff I never wanted to know.
Well, you have
I
to
just
know
want to
that.
play music, but
Do you do your own business as
I'll
well?
yeah.
Yeah, well,
I-
so you have to know that crap.
Yeah, it's all been a work in progress, but I've been leading this band and, well, except for a year there, being our domestic agent and manager for the entire time and just figuring it out as I went.
Have you ever had
Trying to be a
management?
nice person at the same time.
Have you ever had a manager or people helping you?
We had a manager for about a year. It didn't go so well. I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
it.
you know something though. A lot of people who come on the show, including Andrew Duhon, who's usually here, who's off actually recording an Airbnb commercial today.
Oh, cool. Good for him.
Wow.
He said the same thing, and then almost every other musician who's been on the show says the same thing, that I don't have a manager anymore because we parted ways. I guess there's just not enough money to be made or something.
It wasn't the money. It was what he wasn't doing, really.
Wasn't
the
doing enough
money
work
was
for you.
there. It
Right.
could have been really great, but yeah, you kind of have to have attention to detail and respond to emails
Fast.
or at all.
Oh, jeez.
Well, if you have a manager who's not returning your calls or your
It's
emails,
like I was doing a better job than
Right,
you, okay?
right. I can at
no
least
hard
respond.
feelings, but
Right.
kind of.
but now you have to take responsibility for all this crap, and you have to know what Spotify pays and where the check's coming from.
Spotify
and-
doesn't pay.
Do you ever get any checks at all from Spotify?
No, they don't pay the artist.
Nothing. They don't pay the
Whatsoever,
artist at all.
nothing,
So
no.
I'm paying $9.99 a month to Spotify. Where's the money going?
I have no idea.
Not to you.
It's going to them.
To
It's not going to
Spotify.
me.
So they're stealing that. How is this possible?
I mean, there might be something that I don't know, some loophole that I haven't gotten a hold of because I'm still working on registering everything with BMI and all of the other industry things I'm trying to figure
Well,
out.
do you
right
get
now.
checks from anyone else, like Google Play?
No, that's a thing.
iTunes?
Yes.
What about Pandora and those places?
No, none of the free streaming sites. even
Nobody
if you
pays
pay
a
the
penny.
premium. We get our money when you buy online from Amazon, CD Baby, or iTunes because we're officially registered with them, and then we get a percentage of it. If you buy directly from the artist, of course, we get more.
Right.
But
I thought that those places like Spotify and so on paid a minimal amount, but at least it was something, even though it's pathetic.
well, I hope
But
so. I hope they do.
Well, apparently
and then
not.
I
You
find
would've
out
heard-
how. Otherwise, that's kind of a jerk move.
Can people pay you directly for digital files, like for MP3 files or
No,
whatever?
I can barely work my iPhone.
No, yeah.
Can't you download stuff off CD Baby?
Yes, you can.
Or
Okay.
And for me, it's worth it for them to take a percentage
To
so
take
that
that.
I don't have to
So you don't
figure
have to
out
deal
how
with
to do
that.
that stuff.
Yeah.
are you on the other
I can
places as
imagine.
well, like Bandcamp or any of these other joints that people
I
get?
don't. No, I don't think so.
So if we want to
Somebody
buy
else
some
did it.
Meschiya Lake or listen to it and see if we want to buy it, we can go to CD Baby, and that way you actually get paid.
Yeah, CD Baby, Amazon.
Or go to a
iTunes.
gig and buy it.
Or go to a gig and get
Yeah,
one from
right.
us. And
Hey, you want to play something right now for free?
oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to.
All right. What do you
Sweet.
think? What are you going to play?
I'm gonna play a song. That my best friend Erika Lewis wrote. I'm working on a solo album right now with producer and former owner of Piety Street Recording Studios, Mark Bingham. And we have about 30 songs to sort through and see what we're gonna record. This isn't a jazz record. It's not gonna be a genre-specific record at all. We're just gonna kind of see what happens.
How far along?
Somebody tell a joke while I find the
Well, you
guitar
find a
pick.
pick. Okay. I'll just keep asking you interesting. You lost the pick?
I just had it here.
Is it in the guitar? That's where
I
my
will.
guitar
You
picks
know
always
how
goes.
easy
Make
it
one
Fall
on the
in.
card.
There you go. You can fold the
Oh,
card
you
in.
know,
Maybe
I
it's-
know where I put it.
You put it
In
in
your
your
bra.
bra.
Everybody does that.
You stick. You stick.
I
the
would too
guitar-
if I
It's
had
the
to wear
girl
one.
pocket, right?
You stick the picks in your bra for real, regularly.
Usually, yeah, and money, you know.
Do you stick your phone-
nothing.
We don't want to have bulky pockets, so yeah.
Do you stick your phone in there as well?
No.
No, just the pick and
No,
money.
then I would have a square boob, and I don't think that's very
A
attractive.
sweaty square phone.
Sweaty square.
I have
phone
seen
is
tons of women pick their phone out of their bra, though, haven't you?
I'll put it in the middle sometimes.
Oh, okay,
it's
so
happened.
Yeah. That's still a bra by the middle.
Yes, it is, but it's not like the pocket
It's not
part, which
stuck
is
in-
the boob
I've
Oh,
seen
under.
him put money,
It's not the boob
but not
under.
phone.
Never seen people pull a phone out of the bra ever.
No, only money.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I've seen a few women pull that.
I just want to say, since it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, don't
Oh,
put
thank
don't put your phone in your bra. 'cause
That's a
it's
really good
really
point.
This is
bad.
Chris
That is
Kehoe,
That is a good point.
our tech director. Why? Because of breast cancer?
Yeah, it seems like bad news.
It does seem like bad
It is.
news, but we hold it to our heads all of the time too.
That's
Boob-
why- that's
boobs
why I
are more
put it on my
Than
important, though.
ass.
brains? Boobs are more important than brains?
Oh,
Wow.
boy.
Well, I kind of agree. Well, never mind. Let's step away from that topic.
Well, if you kind of agree, even that's something that's more than I would have thought you would have said.
No. Boobs are not more important than brains. They're all important, and you shouldn't fall in love with the brains, even if the boobs are first.
Boobs are important for feeding babies.
Yeah.
That's true.
And for motorboating.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
On that note,
So let's hear
here's a song.
I'm not going to take the
boobs
bait.
or motorboating, written by Miss Erika Lewis.
What's
who
it
runs-
called?
It's called All the Little Bluebirds.
Sorry, what does she run before
She
I
runs
interrupt you?
a jazz band called Tuba Skinny. And her and I have a band together called the Magnolia Beacon that sadly enough we don't get to play that much because she's always traveling with them and I'm always traveling with the little bighorns. But her speaking voice, all right, for those of you out there that don't know what creates a harmony is a third above the root note. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Her speaking voice is a third above mine, so when we say the same word at the same time, it's a harmony. So
It's interesting
I'm never
that
going to
you
find
say
anybody else in my life like this that just sings so well.
She
with
reminds me of you.
Oh, thanks.
When I've seen her on the street performing,
That's a
she performs in the
compliment.
French Quarter. I mean, you used to
Yeah.
perform in the Quarter.
Yeah, I got
and,
my start
and
there.
And similar kind of music. And then her band came along, which is just called Tuba Skinny, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they seem to be doing the sort of same thing that you started out doing, and her voice is similar to yours. It's interesting that you're actually not only friends with her, but you're in a band with her.
Oh, we're incredibly close. She's
Yeah.
my best friend.
How
well, and
interesting.
it's not. I mean, when I started with the band on the street called Loose Marbles in 2007, and at that point, it wasn't hard to get the spot in the morning. You could saunter out there at 9 or 10 and be like, get in the spot. Good morning, everybody. Now kids are going out there at like 3 o'clock in the morning to hold the spot and taking shifts. So I was like, y'all can have it.
Yeah, same
It's
thing
not
with the
worth
artists
it.
at
Really?
Jackson Square. It's bad.
Yeah, it blew up. It
That's
blew up.
intense.
And now there's like jazz bands and big bands in every quarter. And I mean, I wish everybody the best. Like, go make your money. But it was like in 2007, like this kind of happened and it just caught on. And
Do you have to have a
went from
license
there.
to play on the street? Isn't there?
No, and I don't think you ever should.
But you don't have to have one. Anyone can just, as long
The
as you get
tap
a spot.
dance kids don't have one.
That's true.
Good.
Most
no,
of them
no,
underage.
you don't have to have a license to play on the street, but they are imposing restrictions such as how long you can play, curfews basically, and where you can play. Like, you will get kicked out of certain spots.
What about all the whole thing, Jamar, with the artists around Jackson Square? Can anyone just go and hang their art there? Wasn't that a whole thing
No,
about
there's
that?
people standing in line at City Hall for like 2 or 3 days just to get a permit, and
Oh my
then they
God.
cut off the permits. It's hard to get a permit. It's hard to get a permit for a food truck.
Yeah. Well, there's a limited number of food trucks allowed in the city. There's like 35
Wow.
licenses only or something. And I
Yeah.
thought that spaces on Jackson Square were like all political and you had to pay and they tried to kick people out. Remember that whole...
Yeah, there's always
Brouhaha.
something going on. I've never.
You don't mess with that sort of stuff at all.
There's some. I mean, I go down there a lot because there's some stores down there that sell my work, but I never set up out there before.
All right.
It's a rough life.
Do you have a studio in your house or somewhere else?
Yes,
where you
yes.
can-
I live in the St. Joe's Art Lofts, right behind the World War II Museum. So I work out of there. It's a bunch of artists that live there. Some of the artists that live there actually sell their work out in Jackson Square.
So you can get up every morning and paint?
Teach class first,
You do?
then I paint.
You teach your own class or you teach in a school?
I move around to different schools all around the state doing murals with kids.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you divide your day out between that sort of thing, painting with kids.
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep my hands in like 4 or 5 different things at one time.
Who does all that for you? Do you do all that yourself? You people
I'm a
just
robot.
they call you. You don't have a manager or agent or any of that stuff.
It's word of mouth.
Right.
Word of mouth. Sometimes I reach out to people, but a lot of it's word of mouth. You know, I was here before Katrina. I was here.
Right.
You know,
Have you seen
like
a
I said,
change? Did that change the art scene as well?
I'm starting to see a positive change now. I'm liking it. The new fresh breath of air. I do see a change. We lost some of the culture and some of the soul. It is becoming a new city. It's becoming more expensive. The crime isn't as bad. I think we're starting to do business instead of business. We just need to get rid of the crooked politicians and businessmen. But other than that, I think we're going to be okay.
On that note, here comes a song from Meschiya Lake, written by Erika Lewis.
Dang allergies. my song. I heard all little bluebirds singing my song, my song. They'll be singing in a choir and flying before too long. I went down to Louisiana, test my fate, my fate. I went down to Louisiana, test my fate, my fate. Went down to Louisiana, test my fate, my fate. Help me, Mama, I'm crying, or the whiskey is taking your place. Hear me now, hear me now, hear me now, for I am gone. I've been running around for the last 20 years. My heart is full, I ain't cried no tears. Your darling face still on my mind. My daddy's gone and left me, oh my soul, my soul. My daddy's gone and left me, oh my soul, my soul. Well, my daddy's gone and left me, oh my soul, my soul. Where he's gone to I can't say, don't ask me, 'cause nobody knows. Take your time, take your time, take your time, for it is gone. You've been running so long, you can't be found, always picking things up just to put them down. Better slow your pace, or your race is run. Better slow your pace, for your race is run.
Oh,
Damn.
Thanks.
man,
That was
is
awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you, and thank you, Erika, for writing that song.
Isn't that
amazing.
incredible? It doesn't matter what you can do, no matter
Seriously.
how talented or
That guitar
wonderful you are.
sounds nice.
Just to be able to
It's a
sit
nice
there and
guitar.
do
It's on
that.
permanent loan.
It's a beautiful guitar.
Who'd you steal it
Thank
from?
you, Russell Welch.
Very nice.
Wow.
He's a guitarist in my band, and he was my last
He's-
boyfriend also, since we're so personal.
Okay. So he was happy to let you keep the guitar in the breakup?
No, I got the guitar before the breakup,
Uh-huh.
and it had been sitting in storage for a couple of years. He used to play it, sorry to embarrass you, Russell, in his Dave Matthews cover band in music school in college. And it had been sitting in storage since then with a crack and some strings missing, so I fixed it, so it's kind of mine.
Okay. That is a pretty embarrassing sentence. Dave Matthews cover band in college.
You know, we all do things when we're young.
Yeah, well, you have to make a living. So what's it like being in a band with someone who was your ex-boyfriend? That must have taken a bit of getting used to.
It did, and it's not always easy even now. We're really good at arguing with each other, and I will say that it's rewarding, and he's one of my best friends, and he's irreplaceable as a guitarist, absolutely irreplaceable part of the band. But I know that some of the other members don't like to sit in between us sometimes or listen to us argue.
That's tough.
That is tough. Expected.
Nah,
You know?
what are you gonna do?
Right. It's a small city.
Yeah,
Well, I've
I've tried dating people I have nothing in common with.
It's boring.
That's a good one.
What kind of person would that be who you meet with nothing in common with, that doesn't mind someone with tattoos all over them?
I mean, oh, doesn't mind, excuse me?
Yeah. I mean, if you have nothing in common with them at all. I'm thinking of someone who's got like a regular job and
Like
maybe
what?
teaching
I
school.
have a regular
or,
job.
yeah, but you know what I mean. Someone with whom you have nothing in common. Who would that
Well,
be?
A square?
Yes, thank you. One of these. You can't see it right now in internet land, but I'm drawing a square. Actually, it's more of a rectangle with my
Yeah.
hands.
But you.
No, I respect everybody for what they're going to do. The different strokes for different folks, you know.
Yeah, we need everybody to do something.
Definitely. If
Everybody's
those
got
9 to
their
5ers weren't
purpose.
out there, then I couldn't go to the bank and
Right.
put money in
Yeah, but do you
or
think
meet
one of those
people
guys is
or-
gonna fall in
or
love
eat
with you?
delicious food or...
I'm sure
Right.
they all have probably fallen in love with her.
Yeah, but I mean for real, though, and have a real relationship with someone who's not connected to anything in your life at all. Is that
Well,
even
like-
possible?
Kate was saying schedules are important, you know, and it doesn't mean that you don't get along or don't care about each other, but if you're locked into a certain schedule, if you're not willing to be like, all right, this is it, I'm going to change my life to be with you, then that's not going to work out, you know.
Exactly.
What is your
I mean,
schedule
that's
if you
one
have
thing
to?
that's-
But if you have to do business during the day, and you got to be up in business hours to
At the
do
crack of
that.
noon.
So you get up
Crack
at
of
noon.
noon.
That's not bad. And what time do you go to sleep at night?
Usually about 4 or 5.
Okay. Well, that's, I guess.
I've always been like that. Even in high school, when I had like 7 a.m. class, I would
Jesus.
be sleeping on the desk, and then about noon I'd start to wake up. You know, I've just always been
Right.
wired that way. I have definitely had day jobs that started at
You
7
know,
a.m.,
most
and I would just
adolescents
never
are
clock up
are
used
wired
to
that
it.
way.
Maybe
Most of
that's
them
not
are.
true.
That's why, you know, that's why kids are like, they fall apart in high school because they shouldn't be made to get up at 7 a.m. They all shouldn't. They
There
should
should
be.
be a noon o'clock high
They should get
school.
up at like 10 and be at school from like, you know, 12 to 6 or something.
You should start that school.
I know, it'd be pretty popular.
I'll
Is
have
it-
babies and have them go to your school.
Yeah.
Okay. If you start the school, Kate. If Kate starts the school, Meschiya, you'll have babies.
Yeah. And
Jay
so-
will be
Okay, that's
the
a
Jay
deal.
will be the teacher.
In South
New York.
America, they have it right because they do the siestas. They wake up
Oh, yeah.
at like 6 in the morning and they take a nap.
But the
At-
school
They
kids.
do, like from 2 to
12
4.
From 2 to
They
4.
all
Is that
shut
it?
the
I thought it
office.
was from 12 to 2. Okay.
Or
2
is
to
it 12
4.
to, oh yeah, or it's
But
like
still,
2
I
hours
mean,
middle of the
that's-
day.
That's the way you do it.
Yeah, you go home for
I don't
lunch and you
know,
take a
it's-
nap.
I can't wake up at 6 a.m. In fact, I was bicycling through some countries that had siestas a couple of years ago, and that's like when I would get hungry. You know, wake up at 10 or 12 and get on the bike and go to
So-
another town.
so
and
you're a
then
big-
like 4 p.m. I'm starving, and
Right.
There's
just
nothing
want to
open.
keep being starving.
Yep.
for a
But
while.
you'd get on if you lived there. I guess for a while you get on that schedule. You were just on a vacation.
Yeah, for about 6 months.
Where were you?
That's a nice vacation.
Bicycled from, let's see, I started in Berlin, took a train to Italy, and then biked and took trains through Italy to the ferry, and then took the ferry to Greece, and then biked through Greece.
Did you go by
and then took
yourself?
to
Beautiful.
Istanbul.
Nice. That
No,
is
no,
nice.
no. I was actually engaged to be married to a Latvian jazz musician in Berlin, and we had this like kind of circus troupe jazz band, and my friend John Joyce, who now plays in the Smoking Time Jazz Club and various other jazz bands here. I was in a circus with him a decade ago. He spent 7 years bicycling on a tall bike most of the way.
Oh, God.
Playing music from England to Japan,
There's just
back, and then
so
came back
much.
to New Orleans.
There's
about
too much in that
2008.
paragraph.
Where do
to
we
hold
start?
on to.
The
Hang on.
magic bike, huh?
Where do we start?
Hang on, there's so much in there. First of all, we have to get back to I was engaged to be married to a Latvian jazz musician in Berlin. That's one of the best sentences.
That's
Perhaps
a big sentence.
That's a great sentence.
It's the beginning of a song.
But first of all,
Oh, that was an album, honey.
first of all, Kate has a PhD in biking.
Well, not
What?
in
No
biking,
way.
but all my research, my earlier doctoral research was in cycling in New Orleans. Do you bike in the city?
Yes, I do.
Awesome.
As often as possible.
Awesome. That's great.
I drove here.
Yeah,
I
well,
live downtown.
yeah.
So tell
I
us
was
about
also mad at those
tell us
children.
about your those damn Lusher kids. Tell us about your PhD in biking. That sounds
Well, it's in public health, but my PhD was looking at ways that the environment impacts how we eat and be physically active. So, biking is a huge thing to me. My husband, when I met him, he was a cyclist predominantly. Well, motorcycles too. He shared a love of motorcycles.
Yes, my daddy's a biker. Hi, Dad.
your dad's a biker and you love motorbikes too, Kate.
Yep. But
Do you have one?
I used to, but it flooded in Katrina. I had a BMW R65, an old one that I bought on layaway from a bartender. You know,
Another good sentence.
I know, right?
New
But
Orleans economy.
I know it is. It's like I had a tip jar with like the picture of the bike on it when I was bartending, and I'm like, just feed in for my bike, and then at the end of the night, he
Nice.
would come by, and I'd be like, here's what I got so far.
What bar was this at?
I used to bartend at Pal's.
At Pal's Lounge.
Yeah, a long
that
time
is
ago.
Awesome.
Yeah. So for cycling, I mean, we have so many lanes in the city, and I wanted
Do
to
we?
see, a
You
lot
mean
more than
bike
we used to.
lanes?
We had zilch before
We had,
Katrina.
Now we have like what 3 or 4 basically.
Well, no, I mean, there's
Carrollton Avenue.
Carrollton, St. Claude.
yes.
There's
St. Charles is a
St.
half
Charles,
a bike lane.
Basin.
Basin,
I'm up to 4.
Scary
Martin
streets to
Luther
bike
King,
Five.
St. Rock. I mean,
Ooh, same rock.
none of this was there
I'm
before.
I'm off one hand by one finger. That's not a whole lot of bike lanes compared
But
to
think
a
about
city.
but zero.
Compared to zero, yes. That
You
was a
know?
death trap.
In a city
Now
where,
it's less of a death trap.
yeah. And now Barone,
Oh, really? Barone Street has
we're going to
bike
get that.
lane?
Yeah.
I was going to.
Well, it's
not
going
yet.
to.
Okay.
It's part of the plan. So, so I mean, my research was about, this is a research topic, but if you build it, they will come. If you build a safe place for people to walk and bike, they'll use it.
Yeah,
Surprise.
definitely.
And
And
it'll make
did-
them actually go the right direction,
So you can get a PhD in that now.
I know.
That's awesome.
You can get a PhD in lots of things.
How did you swing that topic? I guess you have
Um,
to, someone had to do the research.
Yeah, I did the research.
Yeah.
Well, I employed a lot of graduate students.
And has anyone in City Hall listened to you?
Yes. The Department of Public Works, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, their whole strategy is really looking at ways in which to help people move around the city more. The mayor now goes out and talks about the ways that he used to bike around the city as a kid and go to the corner store and get something healthy to eat. So, I mean,
That was a good reaction.
they've
Michelle.
got the points,
What corner?
Let me have an organic tomato instead of a pig feet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I mean, he
That's
said
the
he's
one
like, I
where
used to
I
go
was at
get
produce.
my mom used to send me with $2, and I'd go to the store and get the milk and come home or whatever, and
With a pack of cigarettes.
yeah, now it's that now that is the situation.
Red dye.
Red dye.
Red dye.
I used to
trying-
send myself to the corner store with a note from my mom to get packs of cigarettes when
Yeah.
I was young.
What
Can't believe they
what
bought
brand
that.
of cigarettes did
Did
you
they really
smoke when
buy
you were
that?
a kid?
Well, I was 9. They didn't expect a 9-year-old to be buying cigarettes.
Jesus.
You were smoking at 9?
I wasn't inhaling till I was about 12. So
Do you still smoke?
that's how I know alcohol is starting to work, because I want to smoke cigarettes. But otherwise, during the day or when I'm not drinking, I just don't care, and I kind of hate it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to give up, even if you hate it.
Yeah, and I
It is a
prefer
drug.
singing
Addiction.
in clubs that don't allow smoking.
And
Even
thank
if
God
I
that's
am
been
a bit tipsy,
happening.
which I don't get tipsy on gigs anymore. Like I'll have a drink at the end of a set,
Yeah.
or I'll wait till afterwards.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just like, geez, you got 2 hours to do a job.
Right.
Just
Just get the job done.
go through it. Just come on.
Do you
But I
enjoy-
mean,
Not that hard.
there's lots of bars that are becoming smoke-free now, right? I mean,
And I love
that's
that.
awesome.
That is awesome, because there's nothing like when you're trying to take a deep breath,
right.
use your diaphragm, get some notes out, and like really like get to that place, and then you're like,
Right. I
kind
mean,
of a showstopper.
musicians need to be
Not in a good
protected.
way.
I mean, we protect
And
everybody
bartenders
else.
and everybody
Right.
that works in these
Right.
venues. Like, yeah, you shouldn't
Well,
have to put your health on the line.
You
for
know
the
what I
job.
heard on
Right.
the NPR news today? That R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company has now banned smoking in their building.
See, even they know it sucks.
How about that?
They're
Wow.
making them, and you still can't smoke.
Isn't
Wow.
that
What
great?
does that say?
Isn't that great? They've had to fall in line with like every other public space in whatever state. Where are they, in Kentucky or something?
Do they?
I have no idea.
Yeah. But I bet you don't have to stay
Virginia or-
25 feet from the front door of their building. I'm sure you can
I don't
just
know.
walk
It
right
is
outside.
It is pretty unbelievable. Hey, Meschiya, what are your hands? What's tattooed on your hands here, on your fingers?
Oh well, the letters say True Blue.
True blue.
That was done with a needle and India ink in a trailer in Asheville, North Carolina.
I have one of
several years
those.
ago.
The needle and the
Oh,
Indian ink.
jailhouse.
Yeah.
Where's your?
Your friends do it, man. It's the best time.
You got it done in jail, Jamar?
No, never
It's
been in
it's called
prison.
jailhouse.
Even
It's
though
just called
Louisiana has
jailhouse,
the
okay.
highest prison rate in the world,
It does. And New Orleans
and
has
I'm
the highest.
African American male, I've never been. I beat the statistics.
Wow, that's crazy.
Good.
I've been
Yeah.
to jail 3 times.
Have you
And
really?
I'm a white girl.
I mean, I've been a
You're in the wrong
OPP
demographic.
overnight for doing graffiti as a kid, but never
Oh yeah,
got
I never me
convicted.
either. I never got
What
convicted.
did
of
you get
anything.
thrown in for? Drug addiction, drug possession.
No, I mean there's lots of stuff I've
All right,
gotten away
Geraldo
with.
Rivera.
You've gotten away
Gotten
with.
away with
Yeah, but what did
most
you
of the
get?
bad things
What did you
I've
get
done.
busted for 3 times?
Well, the first time was in Atlanta, and I was at a protest for Mamia Abu Jamal, and I was set up. And
Oh, yeah, I know about him.
I mean, that got dropped because
Okay.
the cops were wrong.
All right.
The second time I was busking in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. I think I was like 23, 22 or something like that, 2002, in case you guys want to try to figure out my age out there. Yes. And me and my friend were doing this thing called whips for tips, where you whip a tourist and they give you money. And if you want to take a picture of us
Okay.
whipping a tourist, then that costs more money. But it started to get pretty crazy. There was a big crowd around us, and it started to get really chaotic. And I was like, this isn't safe. That show Cops came up. And
Yeah.
filmed us.
What do
And
you?
then after Cops
The
came,
cops
those
filmed
cops
you?
were very nice. Apparently, we're on Bad Girls of Mardi Gras 2003. I haven't seen it.
Awesome. What were you whipping the tourists with? Do you have an actual
whip.
whip? An actual whip. Where'd you get the whip?
I don't know. My friend had one.
My
She was
friend had a whip.
very
You got-
tall S&M woman.
Okay.
Yeah, who looked a little. She's like a white Grace Jones.
No.
Right.
Well, okay. How'd
A
you come up with?
wonderful
How'd you
lady.
come up
Lady
with the
Gaga?
idea?
Tough.
Anyway, it was entrapment.
Okay,
One
so
of these plainclothes
entrapment.
officers came up and was like giving her shit. Pardon my term. Are you a man or a woman? So she ripped open her cat suit, you know, and
Yeah.
her special parts to prove that she was a woman. And then these guys tackled her.
Oh, my
and
God.
were arresting her for indecent exposure. And there's like a big crowd. Everybody's going crazy. And I was just saw these 3 frat boys grabbing my friend. So I was like, oh hell no! And I was like, Rawr! And got in there. And then I got arrested for interfering with a police investigation.
Okay.
Well, that's
Thank
better.
you.
The cat
That's better
noise
than
is very
assaulting
good.
a police officer.
That is better.
You know?
That's
Because
true.
like maybe could have tried to slip
I was,
that in.
I was a little drunk, so I guess I didn't
Yeah.
really connect that punch.
Good.
I was going for.
and did that end up in court or anything?
That charge also got dropped.
Okay. So and
File that in the too crazy to prosecute file.
And what was the third one?
That was a public drunk. I think it was my birthday when New Orleans was being occupied by our own government, and I was a little drunk and not very happy about that. I was playing this
Okay.
game called Happy Sandwich Face with my friend after a gig, where you're like, woo! You know, you throw food everywhere, Happy Sandwich Face.
Happy sandwich face.
And so these MPs thought I was being gross, and I was like, I'm gross? I'm gross? Oh, hang on now. You're a trained killer. I think that is gross. And I just kind of went
Oh
off.
no.
And so I got arrested. They can't arrest you, but they can call people that can.
Okay. So did that one stick, and you had to actually
For future reference.
Yes, but I can still get into Canada. And that is my criminal history, ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen.
very nice. That was pretty good. Whipping tourists, public drunkenness, and a Mamia, what's his name?
Mami Abu Jamal,
Jamal.
political prisoner, American
Right.
political
Yeah.
prisoner, who's still in jail on death row, by the way.
Well, I think he's exhausted all these appeals at this point, hasn't he? Unless somebody can come up with. I mean, that's a whole political. That's a different.
That's a
Conversation,
whole
but-
nother show.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a whole other show. But that's been going on for a long time, and I mean,
Uh-huh.
he's a poster child for the. I mean, last week on the show we talked about Henry Wallace from Henry's house. So there are a number of people in this country who are in prison.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me started.
I know. I was just about
Okay, we're not going to go down there. All
No
right.
joke.
Okay, so Meschiya, can we make you play one more song?
Yeah, sure.
We're starting to
great.
get to the point where we have to get out of here soon to make way for actual
Shoot,
paying
which one
customers.
should I play? All right.
What do you think?
Well, I'll play one that I wrote.
Okay.
I'll try this one. This one sounds like I wrote it at the Phoenix, which is a gay bar downtown. It's called Hard Loving Man, but no, I wrote it in.
How much time do you spend at the Phoenix
Not really much anymore. No.
anymore?
No.
Since the
I
Latvian
went there. I
jazz
went there a
musician
couple
group.
times, and I was like, "Whoa! All right. Well, I'm glad this exists for you guys." But go somewhere else.
I'm gonna stick with the Latvian jazz musician. Okay, putting your hand in.
I'm looking
to
for
your
my pick
bra
again.
right?
Oh, it's right here on the guitar.
Oh, there it is.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Attention to detail. I wrote this on our last Netherlands tour, which we went on during Mardi Gras on purpose.
To get out.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the way to
To
do
avoid getting whipped by the police.
And interestingly enough, I ran into a little Mardi Gras crew on the streets there by a canal. You know, it wasn't
Oh
the
my
same. It was
gosh.
like 10 people, but they did too. But I was like, no way! Happy Mardi Gras!
Oh yes, the happy Mardi Gras.
Yeah, I was like, all right, that's cool. That's enough. Thank you. You may be a hard loving man. I may be a hard to love woman. But it may be sometimes when you look in my eyes, tremble with love we can't stand. Oh, an easy love falls without trace. But I know in my bones I won't end up alone. Soon the heavens will reveal a soul shining like mine, a heart so divine. Nothing else seems real. Back in the arms of my heart-loving man. Back in the arms of my heart-loving man.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Wow. Hey. Did you play that song much?
Well, I do a solo gig at Siberia, set during happy hour, probably about twice a month, and that's one of the songs I think is going to be on the new solo record.
Good decision. Is that a song about someone you're looking for or someone you used to be with?
Somebody I haven't met yet.
Someone you're looking for. It's an idea.
Well, I wouldn't say looking so actively.
Nah, I'm
at
not
this
actively
point,
looking, but has it like
if they
you
fall
have
in
an
my
idea?
lap, great. But I've got enough to do in the meantime.
See, that's an ideal. So, do you think of yourself as someone who's hard to love, like you said in that song?
I've been told that I drive people crazy.
Why?
I could be pretty wild at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In what sense?
But I'm also very nurturing.
You seem like a perfectly normal person to me. Is a sweet, loving person, actually.
Why, thank you very much. I think so too. But yeah, it's just, relationships are hard. It's hard to be with people, and then
Right.
sometimes it doesn't match up. I have another song called Snowflake, which is about how it's hard to find another snowflake like you. And I'm not your normal run-of-the-mill kind of person, so I realized it's not going to be maybe so easy for me to find that other person. But I can also make myself extraordinarily happy without that. So it's not a requirement of life anymore. Like it used to be when I was younger, and I was like, "Where's my soulmate?" And I'm like, he's out there somewhere. I'm not going to stress out about it. Or he's not. I've got dogs. I've got music.
You got
Fine. I've got friends. I've got love coming from everywhere, That's cool.
But you said in that song, "I know in my bones I won't end up alone."
Right.
Do you feel lonely without someone else at the end of the? I mean, people say you are so
I
popular.
have, but
Right.
not really
It must
so
be
much
a
lately.
different thing for someone who's a performer, though, when you have so much adulation and people think you're so great, and
that's
you
only
can
on
do
stage.
something. Yeah, but
those
you,
people don't really know you. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like that's wonderful. That's wonderful. But they're like, "I love you," and it's like, "Thanks," but you don't know me.
Right.
right. But you can do something that most people can't do, that everyone looks up to.
It's true.
Well, yeah. I mean, I see that perspective definitely. But when I'm doing it, I'm just kind of trying to be a conduit for the emotion that the song is about, or trying to present the song, like when it's one of the 1920s, 30s tunes that we do, in a manner that the author or the person originally doing it did too, like taking the meaning of the song and more or less kind of being a conduit to it. And when you're doing it with genuinity, then people react to that because they've felt those emotions. It makes people not feel alone in their emotions when they've got somebody else, well, basically bearing their souls and like relating to them. That's why music is such kind of a powerful thing.
So it's
As
about
you
the
listen to
song and
people
not the skill.
It's about both, definitely. Definitely. But I've run into some artists that don't necessarily have the skill set that some of the people I play with. I mean, they've got master's degrees in jazz performance, and like they'll be able to play two chords, but put more emotion and connectivity into that song with the two chords than somebody that can jam 60 notes into a bar. But when you've got the mastery of both, that's kind of like the ultimate goal for
Right.
me, anyway.
Yeah.
And on that note,
I gotta run,
Jimmy,
guys. I was supposed to
where-
be at the Ogden Museum 4:45.
Oh my God! Let's get out of here.
Pleasure to
All right,
meet you.
Jamar.
Jamar, thanks for
you.
joining us.
Good to meet you.
That was Jamar Pierre. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. And that's the end of Happy Hour anyway. He just
Perfect.
timed it perfectly, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did.
Just got up to leave at the very end. Perfect. So that Jamar Pierre has left us. Dr. Kate Parker is still here. Meschiya Lake is still here. Andrew Duhon will be back. I think he'll be back next week, actually. I'm going to have you two guys back on the show if you'd both like to come back. I
Yeah,
feel like
absolutely.
I'd love to.
we've
We've
still
so much
got
more
a
to
lot
talk
I
left
about.
to talk
know.
about.
I know.
We
I've had
do.
a really fun time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our show was produced today by Graham
sure?
DePonte. Our associate producer and technical director is Chris Kehoe. Christian Unruh is our music director. And our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. The fabulous audio quality of this show is brought to you in part by Pre-Stoneless Audio Electronics. If you'd like to be on our show, if you can sit around the table for about an hour and stay upright, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com, where you can also check out many other happy hour shows and other shows that we make. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace. Mindset with psychiatrist Dr. Nick Page.
You know, they're not,
True of the Game with Chris
they're
True.
kinda
Midnight
sharp.
Menu +1 with Margot Moss, The Man Who Ate New Orleans, Ray Canada, and Louisiana Eats with Poppy Turkey. You can keep up with us on Facebook, on Twitter, and a bunch of other time-sucking social media too. And all of it we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and also on our Facebook and Google
They're
Plus
gorgeous.
pages. Those photos are taken by the fabulous Douglas Engel. If you listen to the show on iTunes, on
too.
Stitcher,
And your
as well
little
as some
dog,
other
too.
podcast app, thanks for subscribing. If you can take a moment, and that's all it'll take, to rate and review us, that helps us and helps other people find us as well. That's it. Thank you so much to everybody else who's around the table here at Happy Hour. Thanks to the people at Wayfare, where they put fine dining into a sandwich and fine booze into a glass at Happy Hour from 4 to 7 every day. And the sandwiches, by the way, are awesome here.
Sure
Thanks
are.
for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. I'll see you back here next week on Happy Hour.
Thank you.
Bye.
Grant.
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Old moon, yeah. That's Hugo, tickling the ivories. He just saved by bundling home and auto with Progressive. Gonna finally buy a ring for that gal of yours, Hugo? Send her my condolences. Hi-oh! This next one's for you two. There's a burglar in my heart. Thank you.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.